Hello, everyone. For today's episode of Career Insights and Advice from a Woman Professional, we have Ruth here with us today from Cisco. So, hello, Ruth.
Hi, glad to be here.
So, just getting into the first question, Ruth, tell me more about what you do in Cisco and what inspired you to pursue this career as a whole.
Yeah, so I am on the Splunk side of Cisco. I do digital ads, specifically on social media sites. So if you ever see, sponsored ads on, or if you ever see ads pop up on your Instagram feed, Reddit, LinkedIn, etc., that's what I do. Specifically, we have a couple different kinds of campaigns that we run. The two big ones being demand gen, where we're looking for people to um, interact with our ads and hopefully eventually down the line become a customer. And then awareness. So those campaigns are directly looking to get conversions through our site. And then the other kind of campaigns we run are awareness campaigns where we're just trying to get brand awareness about Splunk. And then hopefully eventually the people that so we focus more on clicks to the website and less on conversions. And then obviously hopefully those people down the line become customers as well. I specifically run our Reddit platform, some of our other smaller platforms that honestly I don't think people would have heard of as they're not traditional social media platforms. And then I run our LinkedIn local language in French and German ad accounts and run demand gen accounts across all of those and awareness campaigns as well across Reddit and LinkedIn and sometimes Facebook. Yeah, so that's what I do for Cisco. I think what kind of inspired me to get into tech and marketing. I grew up in Palo Alto, so the heart of Silicon Valley, especially growing up in the early 2000s and 2010s there. That was such a rapid time of growth in tech. My dad worked in tech. Sometimes he would bring me into the office, and so I got kind of a feel for the environment and how more of relaxed of an environment it is. Everybody works hard, but there is also a work-life balance, and it's a very much more the companies I would see was a much more kind of welcoming feel than other roles such as finance that can be a little bit very, you wear a suit to the office every day and it's very kind of rigid what you're doing. Um, I know I was really interested in tech, especially watching it as I grew up. It's always changing and adapting to the environment. And especially growing up in the early 2000s, excuse me, sorry. I watched Google grow into the company that it is now. I watched Apple grow into the company that it is now. Um, and especially Google, actually, I was like a fun fact about me is that the CEO and the founders of Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, were my downstairs neighbor in my apartment building. And so anyway, and then once Google blew up in about is it like 2005 maybe, they obviously moved out because they made it big, but it was exciting to just kind of be in the heart of it and see these startups as like local no-name businesses that you only heard of if you lived in the area become these global companies. And then I was especially drawn to Splunk. It was a well-established tech company by the time I was applying, but it wasn't too big. By the time I joined, I think it was about 7,000 people, which sounds big, but in the grand scheme of things was not huge. Cisco is 90,000 people, to put it in perspective. And I knew that it was very clear to me talking to people that worked there, that they cared about their employees. You had a work-life balance. You had the ability to explore outside of what your role encompassed. I remember as an intern, I set up coffee chats with various vice presidents in marketing who were not my vice president. So they truly did not owe me anything. And they were more than happy to take 30 minutes to an hour out of their day to talk to me and talk about their roles. So I liked that my manager was more than happy to allow me to take 30 minutes out of my day to speak to someone on a different team to learn more and see if I could, take what I learned there and apply it to my role. Um, and I did appreciate Cisco, or sorry, Splunk, now Cisco, had um, worked with, they were environmentally conscious and also had a lot of charitable opportunities. I know we get paid time off hours, sick time, and we also had volunteering time off hours. So they gave you a set amount of hours that you were more than welcome to put down on your timesheet and use to go volunteer. And I believe they also did some kind of matching donations thing as well. So I liked the tech aspect and also the people side of it, not only for me, but giving back to the community.
Thank you so much. That was a very long and detailed full answer, but thank you.
Maybe thorough.
Now, yeah. Now, going more into the purpose of this organization, Girls Power the World, this question is geared towards that. So, have you ever felt underestimated as a woman in a fairly male-dominated area? And if yes, what advice can you give to young girls in building confidence or in general in environments where they feel like the minority?
Yeah. I will say, since I'm in marketing, unfortunately, while it's within tech, that is a more there's more, on average, more women than men. So I personally have it. I also have had, or haven't felt that way, as I've had my manager and my mentor on the team are both men, but I have felt very supported um, by them throughout all of it. But I still, some advice that I would give anyway, just talking to other people and hearing their perspectives, is one big thing specifically when it comes to applying to jobs is that there was a stat I found once where basically on average, obviously job listings ask, and this is job and internship listings ask for a lot and expect a lot for the fact that you are just starting in your career. And on average, men apply to jobs that they are underqualified for more than women. And so I think that was something I remember applying to my internship. I wasn't the most qualified, but it was something I took to heart of, what the worst thing that can happen is you don't get the job or the internship. If you check a few of those boxes, men are applying to those roles. Why can't we as women also apply? I was slightly underqualified, but had a great interview and did end up with the role. So it is absolutely possible. Um, I, sorry, I wrote down a few notes to make sure I could have my thoughts in order. So I'm just checking them. Um, but something else is, once you're there, you belong there. You were brought in for a reason. You were hired for a reason. There were a million other applicants and they picked you. So don't be scared to speak up. Don't be scared, walk in like you own the place. And just know, I remember speaking to male and female interns when I was an intern. We're all nervous, no matter what. You're young and early in your career, but you are there for a reason. They picked you. So don't feel like you can't speak up. Have your opinion, make sure your opinion is heard, and just remember that you belong there just as much as anybody else. Yeah, I swear I had another thought, and then where is it? Yeah, if it comes to me, I'll let you know, but those are the main things that came to mind.
Yeah, that's great. And working at such a big company like Cisco and Splunk, there's definitely many hardships and challenges you face throughout your workday. So the question is, what motivates you every day? Is there a specific book, podcast, or mentors you look up to that deeply resonate with you and just motivate you as a general?
Yeah, I mean, one of my initial mentors, and I hope this applies to others as well, is my mom. I actually got that statistic about men applying more from my mom. She was a woman in the business side of the auto industry. So there also were definitely not, so not tech, but there were not a lot of women in her roles. And she made herself known and had a great career at General Motors, um and so I really looked up to her and and she got all of these cool travel opportunities and took advantage of everything that the company had to offer. My grandmother as well. She worked for Sears Roebuck, which I don't actually know if that company still exists, but she worked. I mean, and my grandmother's generation, there were truly not a lot of women in the workforce, and she had to fight for every promotion, but she was like, I deserve this. I am fighting for it. Sometimes she would be passed over for other men and for men instead of her for promotions. And then she would be like, you know what, if you're not going to utilize me here, I'm going to look elsewhere. But she worked her hardest. She was also a single mother. So I really looked up to her for that. And something that I do love about that I've seen various, and then more specifically to tech, that I've seen various um, tech companies have, as Splunk had them, and then going into Cisco. Cisco now has them as well. But a lot of companies will have these communities. They're basically like clubs. They have different names. Splunk, they're ERG, or at Cisco, they're ERGs. They all have different names, but they're basically clubs that you can join on this side. And both Cisco and Splunk have a connected women's network. They actually have two different ones, so you have two different options. But a connected women's network, and the leaders, the women leaders in those organizations will always bring in guest speakers. Just a few days ago, we had an AI skills and what to know session. About a month or two ago, they brought in someone to talk about make how to make your LinkedIn profile amazing. And they even brought in someone to take headshots for everybody to get new and updated LinkedIn photos. So just connecting with those women through the groups as well was always just always made me feel extra welcome and felt like I had someone to go to. Especially if it's a bigger company, there might be less women, but there is always someone, and I'm sure that that woman has felt the same way and has been aware of the fact that there are less women. And so that's always, um, you know, girlhood is awesome. You can always go and reach out to someone and connect with them so you feel like you have more of a network.
Yeah, I love that all the women down your family line is all in like these male-dominated areas. I feel like that really
Yeah,
stood out to me. It's really amazing.
it
And
was
just,
definitely a huge motivator.
yeah, a huge motivation as well. And just the last quick question, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of quick advice, what would that be?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll do work and then just life advice, because I remember that when I was doing my coffee chats, people said work and then life. I guess the life advice is travel. Travel more. Everyone that I spoke to when I was doing my coffee chats who was older than me was like, I wish I traveled more when I was younger. So obviously that's not work related, but just a little piece of advice. And then in terms of work, um, get started early. I mean, you can develop soft skills from any role that you have. My first year, my between my freshman and sophomore year in college, I worked at the mall. It's you can develop a lot of soft skills from that, but even like Selby, you doing a high school lecture or taking 2 weeks out of your summer. Not sure if are you a rising senior or are you entering college?
Rising senior.
Okay, so taking 2 weeks out of your summer before college app season hits to do this internship or this externship and to network, I think that's amazing. Get started early, and I know there aren't a lot of internships for high schoolers, but even just I wish I'd set up my LinkedIn profile a little bit earlier. You're never too young to have one of those. Even if you don't have jobs, you can put volunteering experience. I still put them all on there. There's still soft skills that you develop from those roles. And I know I said this a bunch during the externship, but network, network, network. On LinkedIn, the unspoken rules that you might feel apply on, say, Instagram don't apply. You've met someone once, connect with them. You see someone that it has a role that's interesting to you, absolutely reach out. It's not like sliding into someone's DMs. It is. I have people reach out constantly on LinkedIn. I reached out constantly. Um, so finding people that on LinkedIn that might have a similar career path you're looking to go towards, and even just reaching out to them to just get to learn a little bit more about what they do. So yeah, I think those are the pieces of advice. Get started early, whether that's setting up LinkedIn and starting to network. Look for I remember I basically went to look for even volunteer experience that might eventually apply to what I want to do.
But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come speak here with us today.
Great. Thank you so much. I hope that was helpful.